Right now on Denver 7 News at 6 a.m. It's just the beginning of a long road of recovery. Debris removal could begin today in neighborhoods destroyed by the Marshall Fire.
I'm Denver 7's Christian Lopez. Some homeowners who lost everything say they won't be able to afford to rebuild because of certain building codes, what they're asking Louisville leaders to do.
Plus, stakes are high as President Biden prepares to give his first State of the Union address today.
His most important audience is the American people.
We have 360 in-depth coverage, the top issues he's expected to address as his approval rating falls to a record low.
And is it finally time to get rid of Spring Forward, Colorado's new effort to eliminate daylight saving time? The change here, less than 2 weeks away. Yes, this would keep us on standard time.
Okay.
Staying in daylight time would take an act of Congress, which is interesting.
Interesting, yeah. Either way,
yeah.
Just stop changing it, yes.
That's right, confusing us.
I will support that. Well, it's March. It's a new month.
That's right.
Welcome to March, typically our snowiest month, but Lisa is here and we're starting off the month in the 60s. I feel like that means we're going to get something bad later on, though.
It could. Yeah, definitely could. You're right, though. Very warm start. I mean, very spring-like here for the next few days. In fact, already this morning, we have some neighborhoods in the 40s and even 50s. Most of the metro area is going to see some low 50s by about 10 o'clock, and then we'll see low to even mid-60s for highs today. So it's going to be a few degrees warmer than yesterday and very warm. A very nice start to the month. Denver 65, upper 60s near Akron and Sterling. Southeastern Colorado tapping into some 70s this afternoon, and we'll get more 40s and even 50s out west later on today. So it's nice, it's mild, beautiful shot there along Peak from Rocky Mountain National Park. More snow is on the way. We are tracking another storm that's going to hit this weekend, so we'll replace the sunshine with some snow. I'll show you the timing of that and just how much colder it's going to get. But a really nice start, a lot of melting. I mean, there's still a few obviously icy spots. My driveway, chunk of ice. I'm going to get out there today and try to get it out of there.
And there's still huge piles of snow in parking lots and other areas, and that's all melting. And then you get a little bit of splashback in some of those spots. It's over on I-70 over in Applewood, looking really nice, going on the eastbound or the westbound side over by 32nd Avenue. Take a look from Air Tracker 7 over Highway 36 right now, right by Sheridan. There's the Sheridan Park and Ride. Here's Sheridan right there. So this is the eastbound side. The tail lights you see up to 80th Avenue. Federal would be right down in there heading for I-25, which still looks pretty nice. And you can see that on the overall drive. The only slow spot I'm starting to see is here across 270. Very typical stuff getting over past the refinery, but everywhere else just in that slow and go mode where we're starting to see a little bit more traffic build on some of the freeways. Did you notice any slowing yesterday at 225 and I-25 or down off of C470 with those new meter ramps? We'll keep an eye on those for you all morning long as it's the first morning commute with those active.
Well, another step towards rebuilding starts today for victims of the Marshall Fire. Debris removal could begin as early as today. Boulder County announced the timeline when they selected a contractor out of Louisiana last month.
Yeah, the company thinks they can complete all this cleanup by July 1st if the weather cooperates. Also today, Louisville City Council will discuss suspending new building codes that could make rebuilding more expensive.
Dozens of homeowners rallied over the weekend calling to delay these requirements. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live now. And Christian, these same people are expected to be at today's meeting.
Yeah, that's right. People who lost their homes here are asking the city council to suspend these new building codes that would make it more expensive to rebuild here. Now, these new building codes went into effect in 2021, just a month before the Marshall Fire hit. And people say that this would cost them a lot more money because new homes would have to be net zero. And all of this means Energy Star appliances, higher insulation materials, solar panels, and other things like vehicle charging stations. And they say it would cost an additional $20,000 to $100,000 at a time when they're already dealing with so much.
It's been an overwhelming experience. No 2 days are alike. We're just trying to stabilize our lives.
The council will be discussing this tonight. The meeting starts at 6, and they expect to hear from a lot of people who are passionate about this issue. Live in Louisville this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office is also reminding Marshall Fire victims to report if they lost any firearms during the fire. In order to report a missing firearm, you have to have the serial number. If you have lost that, you can call the place where you bought the gun, and they should have a record. The Isabella Thallis Act went into effect last year, requiring gun owners to report lost or stolen firearms. Last night, some popular musicians joined forces to help the victims of the Marshall Fire.
I don't know where we are, but it will be okay.
Soothing sounds of the Lumineers there, joining dozens of other bands. The Dave Matthews Band, Ben Rector also performed for this virtual concert. Tickets were $10 each. All the proceeds go to the Marshall Fire recovery efforts, and the stream is still available until 7 o'clock tonight, so you can still buy a ticket and even add a donation to that and watch the concert.
Great lineup there. Breaking overnight, a new round of bombs hit Ukraine's capital as the Russian invasion enters day 6. Satellite images from Colorado-based Maxar show a convoy of Russian military vehicles and tanks approaching the capital of Kyiv. This convoy goes about 40 miles. And this is new video from Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine overnight. The president said a Russian missile hit the central square of the city, and you can see that it is completely destroyed. The Ukrainian president called it undisguised terror. He's accusing Russia of war crimes. More than 400 civilian casualties have now been reported in Ukraine, and officials fear the number could be a lot higher. The UN estimates about 660,000 refugees have now fled the country.
President Biden is expected to speak about the situation in Ukraine in his first State of the Union tonight. He's also expected to discuss progress we've made during the pandemic. COVID cases have dropped more than 30% over the last 3 weeks. And the White House says the economy will take center stage, especially with rising gas prices and high inflation. Coming up at 6:30, we will have an in-depth preview of the president's State of the Union speech live from Washington, D.C. Iowa's governor will give tonight's Republican response. Kim Reynolds is the first woman elected governor of Iowa. She was elected in 2018 and has also served Iowa as county treasurer, state senator, and lieutenant governor. So you can watch the president's speech right here on Denver 7. ABC News coverage will begin at 7 p.m. and then we'll have special coverage of the State of the Union address and reaction from afterwards on Denver 7 News.
Well, the upcoming change to daylight saving time can leave you drowsy, make you late for something, or even create safety issues on the roads. And today, Colorado lawmakers will talk about getting rid of it. Denver 7's Veronica Costa joins us live. Veronica, I'm not too optimistic here because we've been here before. We've talked about this for years now.
You have just about 2 weeks now until this daylight savings time starts. That means about losing an hour of sleep. I'm sure you all know that very well. And you said it, this has been a discussion that has been around for years now. We're starting it all over again today. Senate Bill 22-135. It would keep us on Mountain Standard Time without daylight saving time, just like Arizona. Now, the bill is still very much in its early stages. It was introduced back in February. If the bill were to be approved, that's when Colorado voters would come in. They'd vote on it during the November 2022 general election. If approved, that's when we'd see those changes. The state would no longer have to observe daylight saving time come 2023, and we'd be in that Mountain Standard Time the entire year. So, as you all know, no losing an hour of sleep and then no gaining an hour of sleep later on either. So the bill still very much under consideration, and this would require an act of Congress to happen. So just something to keep in mind there as we get closer and closer to this becoming a possibility maybe, or as you said, Nicole, it's happened before, so who knows?
Either way, we got to switch the clocks in 2 weeks and lose that hour. Thanks, Veronica. Well, if you've been wanting to get involved in politics, it's caucus week in Colorado. Republicans and Democrats are holding neighborhood caucuses today through Saturday.
You get together at one location and you choose leaders for your neighborhood that represent your party and turn out the vote. And then you also get to elect what's called delegates for county, congressional, and state assemblies to select the candidates you want to see on the primary ballot for your party.
And when you know that you're basically there to volunteer, to be a precinct organizer, to support a candidate, to decide who gets on the ballot, you don't have to have ever gone before or know anyone.
You can get more information and find your caucus on the Colorado GOP and the Colorado Democrats websites.
Crews in Brighton are working as fast as they can to repair these sinkholes. The city says it's working with a contractor, but it could still take a few days. A 4-block area is now shut down for this work, and our traffic expert Jason Luber has a look at ways to get around it. Jason.
Yeah, this is up on Highway 85 right now. If you take a look at the map, I'll show you exactly up there in Brighton where we're talking about. It's going to be on the north side of Bridge Street and really in a residential area for the most part, so it's really not going to affect a whole lot of people, but Long's Peak Street does cross the railroad track, so a lot of folks like to use that instead of using Bridge Street or 168th, so it can cause some delays for you folks there in Brighton. And as you saw on the camera there at Highway 85 right near E470, looks okay, but there is a new crash coming in here on Highway 85 at 124th, so Lisa, that's going to slow us down coming out of Brighton.
It's going to be a beautiful day. I saw a lot of people out yesterday. The parks are going to be packed today. Take a look at your dog walking forecast. We're at about 60 degrees by noon, by lunchtime, with a lot of sunshine. We'll hit a high of about 65 today. Warm and dry today. Chance for some rain, you guys, on Friday, and then cold and snow this weekend. I'll show you all of that on the Super 7 Day coming up.
Well, breaking overnight. Lisa, you're going to like this. Opening day could still happen this month on schedule. We'll have the latest in negotiations between Major League Baseball and the Players Union.
Also in sports, Denver could be the next host city for the World Cup, what a new ranking says improves our chances against other U.S. cities. And CBD products have grown in popularity over the last few years, but there is a warning this morning about the items you might be buying.